Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Line Change, the NHL betting podcast from the Action Network. My name is Michael Leboff, and joining me, as always, are my co-hosts Tim Kalinowski and Nick Martin. Last episode, if you listened to our Tuesday episode, was probably our longest ever. This one may be our shortest ever. We got one game to talk about on Wednesday night. We can maybe give some thoughts on just where we're at in the league in general now that we are 2 weeks in. But the main bones of this show, Tim and Nick, will be the Caps and the Devils, the only two teams in action on Wednesday night. The Devils looking like they're getting their act together a bit here, coming off of a win in Montreal. They are minus 238 favorites coming back home. The Capitals, I thought they were okay against the Maple Leafs, but they are really scuffling right now. Plus 195 on the road, the over-under 6.5. Where are these teams in the standings right now? As you'd expect with reading odds like that, the Devils are 3-1-1, tied with the Flyers at the very moment. Phillies in action tonight at 11 at 7 points, and the Capitals are 1-3-1, 3 points. Only two teams worse than them in terms of total points in the NHL right now. Tim, you told us that you have some real exciting stuff to get into in this matchup between the Caps and Devils in regards to the total.
Well, I mean, it's really tough to, I don't know if you're have the confidence to bet Washington as a money line dog, and I don't know who really wants to lay that number with New Jersey. So really for me, it comes down to, aside from shot props, the total in this game. And New Jersey, 5 games to the all 5 have hit the over. So New Jersey, 5 games, every game has gone over. Washington, 5 games, only 1 game has gone over. So the over-under right now is sitting at 6.5. It looks like it is juiced to the over. And I kind of want the panel's thoughts here, I guess. I don't know if you see any other edge in this game other than, or am I going to play the total if I'm going to play anything? And I just am not confident in Washington's ability to score. I know that's not saying much, but they're not scoring right now. You got to score goals in this league.
Yeah, it sucks because I think this game, both sides and both totals are really close because the Caps, I think, are due to score more, right? I agree with you. Like, I would still play the under first, but actually, I mean, I don't hate it. And I think that Toronto game was actually kind of a good example. Like, Washington could have scored more, but they also just don't have their stars going right now. Like, they don't look dynamic at all, right? And I thought it was like quite interesting because you look at Toronto and that's such a clear reason why the floors of these teams are so drastically different right now, because Toronto can just sleepwalk through a game like that and just absolutely speed bag the Caps. And then the Caps are doing all they can to own the puck and play a fundamentally strong game and just can't open up anything meaningful. So I see that argument with the under for sure, because I think that's the way the Caps are going to need to play right now. Mm-hmm. And 6.5, you're definitely getting some credit for the way that New Jersey's played thus far. But I am a little afraid because of just the way the Devils want to play. I just see them as such an over team right now. That Montreal game I thought was a pretty good take on that too. Like, same kind of story as the Isles. They had some breakdowns and miscues, but you could still just see the way they wanted to attack and be the aggressor and play with such an edge. I was already prepared to come on here too and talk about how the Devils puck line was a horrible beat, because a period into that game when it was 1-1, I was like, how is this possible? And the commentators giving Montreal credit for just sitting 5 guys behind the puck. But I mean, the Devils are being really aggressive on pucks in the neutral zone, which is leading to some odd man rushes both ways.
We nailed that game, by the way. We nailed that game. Not to pump our own tires.
Yeah, I think Montreal, I was texting you after 1, right now is getting a lot of credit for, I don't think, doing anything impressive.
Well, they're just David sitting Savard, there. Broke his stick, blocked some shots, and got hurt on the
like they're gutting it out. But when you talk about like commentators saying things like, this team's doing such a good job of just like some of the commentary during that game, and I was kind of rolling my eyes like, are they getting this much credit for just accepting that they're the worst team and just trying to not make mistakes? Like, I think we'll probably be going back to the fading them soon, but who knows if the prices will even be there. that game
Yeah.
closed with the Devils as a pretty huge favorite, and they ended up
It's
getting
a
out
tricky
pretty
proposition with the Devils, because a turnover anywhere on the ice, like it could be in the corner and in either zone, just ends up being dangerous for whoever's turning the puck over because
Immediately.
of the way they play. It's wild. Um, this other scary thing about the total here too is who's going to be in goal for Washington, right? Like,
Oh, it's Shepard, I believe, is confirmed.
yeah. So who is that?
Yeah, no, that's
Nick,
fair.
Nick.
And that's the other thing. Like it's a tough 1-game slate, and I love the frenzy idea. Don't love basically 3 out of 4 nights having
Yeah.
having no NHL slate.
You can't
to
move heaven
execute
and earth to get it done.
Yeah, that hurts the way
How to carry the
things went
momentum
a lot.
of the new fans, NHL. How to
And
carry
you know what's
the
great
momentum.
too is like there's no baseball tomorrow. Like the playoffs take a breather too. So it's like they just ceded the floor to the NBA. We got you on Tuesday night, boys. We're sorry about it. Yeah, I think it's the best way to do it is just to play some props. Oh, Ovechkin, we should mention, was it 14 shots he finished with? So you're going to see a ton of people going to bet Ovi again tomorrow. He does seem to be the only Capital that has any bit of teeth in him right now offensively, which is scary. So
Yeah, and to make matters
besides
worse,
Phillips.
I already reached on Monday's single game slate to play too many props, and it didn't work out for me. So now I'm like, don't do that again. Especially the Caps, because I always feel like they're going to do more than they do, and they just don't. So, to talk Hughes too, which would be like the one future, Tim was really the one who was pumping it the most out of all of us. He's moved a ton. That's the one future that odds makers are actually moving out of the NHL ones. He's down to like plus 500 to win the Hart some places, which is pretty crazy. And as much as we loved him, like I don't think you can bet that now, right? That's
No.
quite low. Like that kind of.
You could have bet him at 130 to 1 with me 2 years ago. That's when you got to bet Jack Hughes.
Yeah, and I'm pumped that he gave that out. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's one of those things now. If you bet it, you're kind of like just doing that FOMO bet.
All right. I think that's a good place to leave it. I mean, it's a good lesson that just because there's a game on and it's only one game, you can take a break and not have to bet.
Yeah, I think another good example of that is the Flyers game that's about to occur. Just because I think it did, or maybe it's jumped back enough. But when it was down to like plus 170 today, I think that's the same kind of thing.
It was 164 at one point.
Yeah, where that's too low.
Feels like the Hawaii game a little bit in college football.
Yeah, and you do that almost more on underdogs, I think, too. Like where it's like that game opened at plus 205, but then so you might look at it and still be like, oh, plus 170 is pretty long.
Yeah.
And then you think about it, it's you need to hit it 40% more of the time to be doing all right. So
great lesson. Just because it's long odds does not mean it's still a positive EV bet. And I will say, to just circle back to the Caps, we're going to learn an awful lot about Washington on Sunday when they play San Jose.
Oh God, I don't even. Yeah, the Sharks, pretty bad performance again, considering everything that went wrong for the Panthers tonight. Blackwood was really good again, and they still just can't quite get it done. It really looks like they're the clear bottom of the league right now.
That poor team.
Yeah, the Devils should trade for Blackwood, man. Should get him back.
They could use a guy like that.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it there. We'll be back again Thursday morning for a much more riveting episode where we'll tackle a deeper slate and go over our favorite bets, props, all that kind of stuff. I hope you enjoyed the Frozen Frenzy. Hopefully you made some money. Hopefully a couple listeners out there cashed a lotto ticket. I know a lot of people were playing some crazy stuff. You got to on nights like this. So hopefully you were one of them. And if you are, you know where to find us and you know where to find our Venmos. For Tim Kalinowski and Nick Martin, I'm Michael Leboff. We will see you again on Thursday morning.